Previously, Rain captured Vesaroli, then met with the nobles and presented a new plan that required funding. The nobles, however, were unwilling to help. Rain dismissed their reluctance, stating he had already raided an illegal casino for funds. Adrian attempted to stop Rain, but Rain declared that he would detain everyone there to discuss matters of the law. Now to this week's chapter. With everyone detained in the room, Rain brings out two prisoners and places them on the ground in front of everyone. The nobles watch in shock, while Adrian begins to sweat, feeling a surge of panic. He recognizes who these two people are but wonders why they are here, bound and on display. Adrian glances around, wondering where Vesaroli is and whether he is also caught up in this mess. Both of the men on the ground look at Adrian, silently pleading for help. Rain then turns to Adrian, lifting his hand as he asks if Adrian recognizes these two men. Trying to keep his composure, Adrian calmly claims that he does not know them and has never seen them before. He questions Rain, asking why he has brought these two men in front of everyone. Rain simply sits down in a chair, closes his eyes, and tells everyone there is no reason to be alarmed. He says it is not a big deal and mentions, almost casually, that a few men tried to assassinate him that afternoon. He then looks up at Adrian and adds that he recalls one of the attackers saying that Ashling City was their playground and that they considered themselves the law in the area because a powerful person in Ashling was backing them. Adrian's face begins to sweat as he scrambles to think of a way out of the situation. He recognizes the two men before him and knows they attempted to assassinate a duke's son. Realizing the grave danger this poses for both himself and his family, he becomes increasingly desperate to avoid any involvement. Rain notices Adrian's silence and commands his soldier to untie the prisoners and remove the cloths from their mouths so he can question them about the powerful person they mentioned. The soldier nods and follows the order. The nobles in the room, overhearing the conversation, realize these two men work for Master Vesaroli. One noble can hardly believe that Rain has just accused them of attempting to assassinate a duke's son, while another recognizes that Adrian's family has made a dangerous mistake in their choice of allies. Meanwhile, Adrian realizes he cannot let these men speak, as their words would ruin his family. Thinking quickly, he grabs a knife from the table and, in a flash, moves toward the two men, announcing that anyone who dares to attack the son of the Grand Duke deserves the ultimate punishment. He plunges the knife into each man as they scream in pain, cutting off any chance for them to speak. The nobles watch in shock, trembling as they witness Adrian's ruthless act. They can hardly believe he would go to such lengths and wonder if they, too, might be silenced to keep his secrets safe. Adrian looks down at the men he has just silenced, feeling a pang of regret for the waste but knowing he had to protect his family above all else. He believes he has just saved them from ruin. Turning to Rain, he apologizes for his actions, explaining that his anger took over at the thought of anyone daring to harm the Duke's son. Bowing his head, he offers to accept any punishment Rain deems fit. Rain, however, only smiles at him, his expression calm but knowing. Rain walks over, places a reassuring hand on Adrian's shoulder, and remarks that no punishment is necessary, as Adrian was merely acting with a noble sense of justice. He even praises Adrian, calling him a true noble for defending the Duke's son. Adrian closes his eyes, masking his relief as he responds that his actions were only what any noble should do to protect the Duke's family. Rain then turns to his soldier, commanding him to bring out the true mastermind behind the attack, suggesting it will be an opportunity to see if there are other noble defenders as loyal as Adrian. The soldier nods and exits. Moments later, the room falls silent as a voice rings out, shouting for the guards to release him. A figure is brought forward, struggling against the guards, and as he steps into the light, Adrian's face turns dark with dread. The voice belongs to Vesaroli, who shouts furiously for his release. He demands that the guards set him free, declaring that his father is the most powerful noble in all of Ashling. Vesaroli warns everyone that, once he's free, he will inform his father of the mistreatment he's endured, and they will all face severe consequences. His tone is filled with arrogance, as if he believes his father's influence can shield him from any punishment. Adrian, watching Vesaroli's bold threats, feels his heart sink further. He realizes now why Vesaroli was missing earlier and understands that things have spiraled out of control in ways he hadn't anticipated. Vesaroli continues, commenting on how they dare take down his servants and stating that they will all be dealt with soon. He then focuses on Rain, cursing him and saying that once he gets free, he will catch him, give him a good beating, and then end his life after having his fun. Rain just smiles and questions him, asking if he heard correctly. Vesaroli wants to beat him first and then end his life. Vesaroli steps closer, smiling, and states that Rain heard correctly. He reminds Rain that no one in Ashling can stand against him, and he will indeed end his life as he promised. But Rain bursts out laughing, complimenting Vesaroli as the first person he has met who is this brave. Rain looks back at Adrian and comments on how brave Vesaroli is, just as Vesaroli notices Adrian and calls out Dad. He then starts laughing, mocking Rain, and saying that Rain's days are now numbered. He questions Rain if he knows who that man is, but before he can finish, Adrian's temper flares. Adrian screams at his son, telling him to shut his mouth and calling him an ungrateful child. He demands that Vesaroli kneel immediately. Vesaroli stops laughing, confused, and questions his father, asking why he is screaming at him and what is happening right now. Adrian, however, doesn't care. He places his hand firmly on his son's head and forces him to kneel, screaming at him that he had already told him to kneel. Adrian panics, realizing the danger his son is in. He looks up at Rain, desperately begging for his son's life, claiming that Vesaroli is young and naive. In a frantic attempt to save his son, Adrian offers everything he owns, hoping that there might be a chance to spare him. As Vesaroli trembles in fear, he recalls a conversation with his father. He remembers how Adrian had told him to befriend the Grand Duke's son when he arrived, knowing that his relationship with the Duke's son would secure their future. Now, trembling with fear, Vesaroli struggles to speak, finally asking Rain if he is indeed the Grand Duke's son. Rain looks down at Vesaroli with a firm expression, his tone cold as he comments that it should have been obvious to him, given the many soldiers at his command. Realizing the truth, Vesaroli bows his head, smacking it against the ground in desperation, begging for Rain's mercy. He pleads that he won't make the same mistake again and admits he was wrong. Adrian, now frantic with fear for his son's life, speaks up. He begs Rain to give the Eldrin family a chance to redeem themselves, his voice trembling with desperation, hoping for a way to protect his family and avoid complete ruin. Rain remains silent for a moment, watching as Adrian kneels down, desperately begging for a chance to save his family. With a firm expression, Rain finally speaks, his voice carrying weight. He states that if Adrian wants a chance to redeem himself, the Eldrin family must surrender everything they've gained illegally over the years. If they comply, Rain promises to ensure their safety. Adrian, his heart heavy with the weight of his loss, thanks Rain for his mercy and agrees to the terms. He knows he has lost a great deal, but at least, for the moment, he and his family are spared from total ruin. Adrian, realizing the urgency of the situation, looks at the city lord and knows that now is the time to reveal everything. He calls out to Rain, stating that he has crucial information to report. He reveals that the city lord, Eldrick, has contacted forces outside the Grand Duke's domain and plans to betray the Grand Duke. The city lord is shocked, unable to believe that Adrian is making such an accusation. The other nobles, confused and uncertain, begin to question whether it is true that the city lord is planning a rebellion. The room is filled with tension as the new revelation threatens to change everything. Adrian, in panic, calls out to Rain again but is immediately told to shut up. Rain turns back with a pissed-off look, stating that he was going to let Adrian's family go, but now that he speaks ill of the city lord's loyalty, he must act. Rain commands his soldiers to take them away and deal with them. The soldiers nod in understanding of the order. The city lord is shocked by the sudden turn of events but smiles to himself, thinking that what he had heard about Rain is true. Not only is he impulsive, but his actions might just work in the city lord's favor, giving him a chance to turn the situation to his advantage. The city lord walks out and bows in front of Rain, thanking him for his quick thinking and for removing the problem. He looks down and comments that he is completely loyal to Rain and the Grand Duke, and would never think of rebelling. As he smiles, he thinks to himself that it's too easy to fool this kid. Rain smiles in response, stating that he believes the city lord. However, just then, the system window pops up, revealing the city lord's true nature. The stats show 15 for loyalty, 68 for strategy, 66 for magic, 48 for strength, 35 for leadership, and a special attribute of greed. Rain, noticing this, realizes that the city lord is lying about his loyalty and decides to play along for now. He continues, saying that the city lord will definitely not betray him. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. It really helps me out.